So I'm sure by now you've heard that U.S. beaches over the Labor Day weekend were closed, many of them due to contamination. But what we're hearing is an update today, September the 2nd, 2025, that those warnings to stay away from U.S. beaches is still in place, and it's actually spreading as we're hearing that the contamination across U.S. beaches is going out even further. Now, let me go ahead and share with you the latest headlines so that way you can see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Officials close even more beaches as deadly bacteria contaminates shores across the United States. You can see this coming out yesterday, being updated today, September the 2nd, 2025. Now, I'm going to be covering for you the list of all the beaches, but let's take a look at these headlines so you can see it. Beaches across the U.S. closed during Labor Day weekend due to fecal contamination. We're hearing that there is massive contamination in various beaches around the U.S. From Coronado to Cardiff, these San Diego beaches have water contamination advisories. Texas beaches with concerning fecal bacteria levels ahead of Labor Day. East Coast beaches hit with fecal contamination warning ahead of Labor Day weekend, and dozens of beaches contaminated by fecal matter over Labor Day holiday. They're saying this is still in place. Stay out of the water. A recent Environmental American report found that 61% of U.S. beaches recorded at least one day of unsafe bacteria levels last year. And they're saying right now it is very high. They're saying that there is fecal matter, our own feces is in the ocean. It is spreading. Stay out of the water. I'm going to be covering the list of the beaches that they have said there are advisories for, and also just going through East Coast, Gulf Coast, West Coast, all the details of what they're saying, because as of today, September the 2nd, they're saying this is still an advisory, still a warning. Stay out of the water. It is contaminated. So I'm going to go through all the latest articles so that way you can see it for yourself. And like I said, I'm sure many of you have heard about this already by now. There was a major warning that was released over the Labor Day holidays, but they're saying it is still in place. So as always, all the articles I'm going to be referencing, you're going to be able to see the dates, the sources. I'm going to put it on the screen, read right from it directly so you can see it, know, and rest assured that this is the latest. Now, if you appreciate that, do me a favor. Before we dive in, take a quick second, hit that like button for me, help spread this out while we're live. Also, maybe consider sharing this if you know somebody that is by the beaches or was thinking about going to the beach, or maybe somebody that was there during the Labor Day holidays. You might want to watch out for this. Also, to stay up to date on everything that's going on, there's a lot taking place. Hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, just takes a second. I'll keep you up to speed on everything so you know exactly what's going on. Like situations like this where we're hearing that more U.S. beaches are now also being shut down as of today the 2nd. So we're going to dive right in, get you caught up on the latest. Stay out of the water. Let's go ahead and take a look at this so you can see it for yourself. Now, first, let's go ahead and just go through some of the lists here, and then we're going to dive into the details as to what is actually going on. So let's start off with the West Coast over by San Diego. You can see here several San Diego County beaches were under water quality advisories Friday for excessive bacteria levels, according to the San Diego Department of Environmental Health and Quality. Advisories were issued because testing showed the water in those areas had bacteria levels that exceeded state standards, the county said. No further information was provided. The following beaches were underwater contact advisory as of Friday afternoon: Coronado, Silver Strand from north of the Carnation to south of the Avenida Lunar. Ocean Beach is a dog beach. Mission Beach, La Jolla Beach, Del Mar Beach, Cardiff Beach. Extended advisories remain in place at the La Jolla Children's Pool, and a closure remains in effect for the Imperial Beach shoreline and the Tijuana Slough shoreline due to contaminated sewage runoff in the Tijuana River. A water contact advisory is the lowest issuance in the county's three-tier system, which includes warnings and closures. Advisories are issued when water testing results exceed state standards. Resamples of the affected areas are collected each day until levels subside, and then the advisory will be lifted. So those are some of the ones that have been named for San Diego. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Texas here. Texas beaches with concerning fecal bacteria levels ahead of Labor Day. So we've got this from coast to coast, West Coast to the East Coast to the Gulf. Now, this one says Labor Day weekend is the perfect time for one final beach day before admitting that the summer has come to an end. But before you dip your toes in the sea, you might want to check how the water quality is doing, because we're hearing it has not been doing well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm just going to scroll down here and try to get to the list for you. Fecal matter levels in Boca Chica Beach. So this one is being mentioned. It was low, and it was a sample done on August 18th, but they're saying that there was fecal in this beach. It is being named Isla Blanca Park, South Padre Island. Fecal matter levels low in South Padre Island beach accesses. Level low for bacteria fecal matter in Cameron County beach access number 6, South Padre Island. Fecal matter level for Bob Hall Pier, Corpus Christi. Fecal matter level for Mustang Island. For Port Aransas. Fecal matter level for Surfside. Fecal matter level for Jamaica Beach. Fecal matter levels at Galveston Island State Park. Now, all of these have been low. They're saying that they're finding fecal matter levels, but now it's going up to moderate for Princeton Street and 69th Street in Galveston. That's in Houston, Texas area. Fecal matter levels for Galveston, low. Fecal matter levels for McFadden State Park, mixed. Fecal matter levels for Sea Rim State Park, Sabine Pass. So those are some of the ones that have been mentioned for the Gulf. And also, let's take a look at the East Coast here. It says Labor Day vacationers across the East Coast are facing fecal contamination warnings at their beaches this holiday weekend. Water quality warnings have struck coastal areas from Maine to Florida this week, with advisories saying high levels of bacteria could cause nausea and rashes. There have been closures this week at some of the country's most popular beach destinations, including Keys Memorial Beach in Cape Cod Village of the Hyannis and Barnstable, Massachusetts, and Benjamin's Beach on Long Island in Bayshore, New York. A report from Environmental America assesses beaches' safety by examining whether fecal bacteria levels exceeded standards set by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency that triggered an alert to avoid the water. Fecal bacteria at those levels can cause illness in 32 out of 1,000 swimmers. Now let's go ahead and scroll down here and see the list of some of the beaches that they named on the advisory. All right, despite 2 warnings, elevated fecal indicator bacteria last month at Rehoboth Beach, Delaware beachgoers. Oh, this one looks like it doesn't have one for this particular one. I think it might be the next one. East Coast. Oh, here we go. Yes, it was this one. Dozens of beaches contaminated by fecal matter over Labor Day holiday. This one has the lists. Sorry for the confusion. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. Here we go. So what beaches are closed? Northeast and East Coast. Keys Memorial Beach, Massachusetts. Benjamin's Beach, Bayshore, New York. Beaches along the Crystal River in Florida. Algonquin, Maine, are under advisories due to risks of waterborne illnesses. Mid-Atlantic in North Carolina, 5 beaches have posted warnings following elevated bacteria readings, though no full closures have been confirmed. South and the Gulf Coast, McFadden Beach near Sabine Pass, Texas, remains under an advisory. West Coast and Pacific, portions of Imperial Beach in San Diego area have restrictions in place. Other Southern California beaches, such as Silver Strand, Coronado, Topanga Beach, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, and Santa Monica are under advisories or partial closures as well. In Hawaii, the Kahaluu Beach Park has reported elevated bacteria levels, prompting a health alert. So there are beaches in Hawaii, the West Coast, the East Coast, and the Gulf Coast that are under these advisories. They're saying stay out of the water. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the details of this. Beaches across the U.S. closed during Labor Day weekend due to fecal contamination. Now it says thousands of people across the United States are being advised against water-related activities at beaches and other coastal areas during the Labor Day holiday weekend due to unsafe levels of bacteria. Swimming caution advisories and closures have been issued for numerous beaches along the East Coast from Maine to Florida because of water quality concerns caused by elevated levels of fecal contamination. The advisories warn beachgoers to avoid water contact due to potential illness risk from bacteria. Meanwhile, authorities on the West Coast also warned of high bacteria levels at beaches, including in San Diego, where part of the Imperial Beach shoreline, Silver Strand shoreline, Coronado were also, as of August 31st, according to the San Diego Beach Water Quality. At the start of the Labor Day weekend, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health issued an ocean water use warning on August 29th for local beaches due to bacteria levels exceeding health standards. The warnings were issued for parts of Topanga County Beach, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, and Santa Monica, among others. In Michigan, several beaches were either closed or under bacteria advisories, reported the Detroit Free Pass, part of the USA Today network. State officials said some beaches weren't safe for swimming due to potential wildlife contamination. Consumption of or contact with water contaminated with feces of humans and other warm-blooded animals can cause a variety of illnesses, such as gastrointestinal illnesses, skin rashes, respiratory illnesses, and other types of infections, according to the U.S. Geological Survey and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The Environmental Protection Agency said that the most commonly tested fecal bacteria indicator is for E. coli and Enterocoli bacteria, among others. The bacteria can come from sewage discharges, failing septic systems, stormwater runoff, and animal and agricultural waste, according to the New York State Department of Health. Hundreds of beaches had potentially unsafe contamination levels in 2024. Beaches are a popular destination during the summer months and holidays, such as Independence Day and Labor Day, but the closure due to the high levels of bacteria and fecal contamination remain a widespread issue across the nation. Earlier this summer, high bacteria levels have prompted beach closures and advisories from Michigan to New York as beachgoers prepare for Independence Day celebrations. According to the Harvard T.H. Chan School for Public Health, beach closures from unsafe bacteria levels tend to peak in July because it's hot and more people are there. Now, a report from Conservation Group Environmental America.
When you power your home with a renewable...
Excuse me, sorry. It looks like the audio on the advertisement popped up. A report from Conservation Group Environmental America released in July noted that 61% of U.S. beaches had potentially unsafe contamination levels in 2024. During that year, the group found that 1,930 out of 3,187 tested beaches nationwide experienced at least one day in which indicators of fecal contamination reached potentially unsafe levels. The group also discovered that more than 450 beaches had potentially unsafe levels of fecal contamination for at least 25% of the days tested. The report added that there were over 7,563 health warnings or closures at coasts and Great Lake beaches in 2024, impacting 1 out of every 15 swimming days. Each year, there are an estimated 57 million cases of illness in the United States resulting from swimming in the ocean, lakes, rivers, and ponds. The vast majority of these illnesses go unreported, the report states. Contaminated water can trigger health warnings or closures that interfere with our ability to enjoy beaches. So, what are the beach advisories, closures? Beaches, advisories, and closures occur when water quality tests show that the presence of one or more contaminations that exceed healthy standards, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Ocean Services. Beachgoers are advised to follow the state and local guidelines for advisories and to find information on the beach's current water qualities. Now, beach closures and advisories can be caused by excessive rainwater that carries pollution from storm drains to recreational waters. The National Ocean Service says pollutions include motor oil, animal waste, pesticides, trash, and pathogens. And this is actually one of the ones that I had heard, I had seen. I wasn't able to track down the main sources for all the beaches, but what I've heard is that a lot of the rainwater that has come is carrying pollutants, that maybe there was some failure of some of the wastewater systems that was dumping the fecal matter into the oceans. Now, that's something that I had read, but I couldn't confirm it, so take it with a grain of salt. I'm still trying to research to see if we can find more information as to the cause of this, because they're saying there are excessive levels at this time. Love for Life 2019, thank you for the $5 super chat. I was just at California, Redondo, and Huntington Beach swimming last week with my wife. I'm swimming in poop particles. Yes, that's what we're hearing, and they're saying that it is a high advisory. So right now, if you have found yourself or your loved ones swimming in these beaches while we're hearing that this is happening at this time, just keep an eye on your health. If you notice that you're experiencing any symptoms of sickness, maybe get checked out by a doctor. Let them know that you had swam in these waters at this time where they're saying that there were high levels of sewage that have been getting dumped into the ocean. Now, other sources that lead to beach closures and advisories are harmful alga blooms, such as red tides, sewage and chemical spills. According to the National Ocean Service, the USA Today Network, New England reported on August 29th that more than 20 beaches in Vermont were under bacteria advisories due to high cyanobacteria levels heading into Labor Day weekend. According to the Vermont Department of Health, cyanobacteria, or blue-green algae that grow in fresh water, can release toxins into the water that create unsafe swimming conditions. Health effects from coming in contact with cyanobacteria include rashes, abdominal pain, vomiting, liver damage, and dizziness. It is generally wise to avoid swimming after heavy rains, or if the water is unusually colored without first checking with local or state health authorities, the National Ocean Service advisories have said. So they're saying, listen, if the water seems to be murky, if it is an unusual color, check the advisories before you get in, especially if it's after rains, which, like I said, haven't been able to confirm it for all the beaches, but a lot of them are speculating that due to heavy rains that have recently happened and maybe failure of some of the sewage systems, that is causing this leakage to happen where we are seeing fecal material just pouring into our oceans and into our beaches. And a lot of these advisories and warnings had come out. They said the Labor Day weekend, stay out of the water. Like I said, I'm sure many of you have heard it already. If you had heard this, put yes in the comments. If not, put no. I know that they had put those advisories out for a lot of the beaches. However, now September the 2nd, Tuesday, a couple days later, they're saying those advisories are still in place. Stay out of the water, and they're actually spreading it out further, saying more contamination is being found. To stay safe, stay out of the water, and if you did go in the water, to make sure that you are keeping up and making sure, okay, how am I and my family doing? Are we sick? Are we experiencing symptoms of swimming in contaminated water? Because right now there's major concern about the contamination that is taking place. Oh, wow. And I'm actually shocked to see no's pouring into the comments. A lot of people saying they did not see those advisories coming in to say stay out of the water over to Labor Day weekend, that they were having unusually high detections of the fecal matter in the water. Well, now they're also saying to continue that advisory to stay out. So if you did not hear about it, I'm letting you know that it is still in place. And also, once we hear that this is lifted, I'll let you guys know as well. Keep an eye on that, especially if you were near one of these beaches. Like I said, Southern California, Hawaii, the Gulf Coast here in Texas, by Houston, all along the East Coast from Maine down to Florida, North Carolina. They're saying that all of these areas, there are advisory warnings. Massachusetts, that there are serious contaminations that are taking place at this time. So please be aware. Please share this out with individuals that you know are in these areas, or anybody that maybe has gone into the water. Keep an eye on yourself and your family. See if you have any symptoms swimming in contaminated water at this time. And wow, I'm actually seeing a lot of no's pouring in. People saying they did not see this in the news. Okay, I will continue to keep you guys up to date so that way you know what's going on with our U.S. beaches, as they're saying that contamination has been taking place quite a bit. And officials, as of today, for those of you who missed it, just reviewing this headline for you, officials close even more beaches as these deadly bacteria contaminate shores across the United States. Like I said, coming out over Labor Day weekend, but this updated today, September 2nd, as they're saying more beaches are being closed. The advisories are still in place. Stay out of the water. So there you have it, you guys. I'll continue to keep you up to date as more comes out. Thank you so much for joining me, and also stay tuned to the channel. I'm probably going to do another update later today as we've had more earthquakes that have hit. And also, we're just keeping an eye on all the conflicts taking place around the world. And today as well, Donald Trump made a big announcement regarding the Department of Defense just a little while ago today, September the 2nd, 2025. So a lot taking place. I'll do my best to keep you up to speed on everything so you know exactly what is going on. And if you haven't done so yet and you appreciate the updates, please take a second, hit that like button for me. It really helps out the channel a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And as I mentioned, all these articles that I'm referencing, they're going to be hyperlinked in the description. You can click them, read them for yourself. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Take care. God bless. Catch you in the next one. This is Steve.